Welcome to TV Trash. What's one thing worse than a bad TV show? A bad ripoff of a TV show! And that's what we got with the 1995 piece of fetid carcass, Unhappily Ever After. Now, for those of you who don't know or remember this show, and consider yourself lucky if that's true, this was one of the first shows when Warner Brothers started up its own television network. Back then, it aired 3 nights a week on whatever independent station around the country would pick it up, and it began its quest to become recognized as one of the legitimate networks in America. And some would argue they're still pursuing that to this day. It didn't help that they introduced their shows originally with that damn singing frog!
Hello, my baby, glad that I caught you staring at the idiot box. Your love life is in a rut. You're sitting there on your nice sofa.
Okay, show of hands! Who wanted to see that frog run over by a Hummer? Their original lineup for their maiden voyage included The Steve Harvey Show, Sister Sister, and Unhappily Ever After, a show built around a totally dysfunctional family. Because that hadn't been on TV by the mid-90s, right? Actually, the show did open with a slight twist on the others. In the pilot, our two main characters, Jack and Jenny Malloy, are about to get divorced, and Jack has been kicked out of the house. The kids take it really hard.
Your mom kicked me out 2 weeks ago.
No kidding. Oh, well, see ya.
Daddy, I'm so self-absorbed, I didn't even know you were here now.
They raised them so well. The youngest kid, however, does care enough to give Jack something to keep him company. His favorite stuffed animal, Mr. Floppy. Well, thanks, son, but Daddy would much rather have those magazines you have hidden under your mattress.
Jack, you're a loser.
Huh?
I said a loser. What part of that didn't you understand?
The bunny talks. Yes, it takes Jack all of 2 minutes living alone to go nuts, develop a second personality, and channel it into a plush animal with the voice of Bobcat Goldthwait.
Save your cheap sentiment for Full House. Your wife's a shrew, and if you think your kids love you, they don't.
You know, there's a nice big can down by the bus stop. It says Toys for Honduras. How'd you like to wake up there?
Do it if you got the guts.
So for much of the first season, each episode seemed to have a similar format. Jenny calls Jack a loser, Floppy calls Jack a loser, and Jack and Jenny have sex in the end even though they're supposed to be breaking up. So basically, the woman no longer wants her man living under the same roof, but still wants him around to boink her. If a man asked for that, he'd be eviscerated!
She got the house, the car, your money, and your manhood. Why are you smiling?
'Cause she got the kids.
Wow, the guy who had to hold up those laugh signs for the studio audience must have built up the biggest arms in the world! I guess the writers decided that this premise would get dull very quickly, so they canceled the divorce idea in season 2 and brought Jack and Jenny back together full time. And thus the show turned from one about a separated family to just a dysfunctional family involving a loser dad, a shrew of a mother, a hot conceited daughter, and a brainless son. Why does this sound so familiar? It's like I've seen this entire premise somewhere before. My stomach hurts. Look, I never liked Married with Children myself, but I admit it was a very popular show. So the fact that the WB would so blatantly rip off of it while the original was still airing is beyond any logical comprehension. I'm sure some people will accuse me of being a poor man's nostalgia critic or something, but this is a zero-budget, half-baked internet show, not a Hollywood production that's wasting precious space on the TV bandwidth! And for the record, following the leader is not necessarily a bad thing. South Park and Family Guy were clearly inspired by The Simpsons and became very popular. They did that by adding their own specific gimmicks to give them their own identity.
So, Friends is a hit show. So we'll make a show like Friends, except with a twist. Instead of having 3 guys and 3 girls, we'll make it 3 girls and 3 guys.
No, here's how it goes. If you have a show based around someone who reviews nostalgic movies, you can then create a show reviewing TV shows that aren't nostalgic at all. Like this piece of crap! All Unhappily did was take the exact same premise and add a talking bunny rabbit.
20's nothing. A girl's not old until she's 27.
Sarah Michelle Gellar, Alyssa Milano, and the women of Friends are all over 30, and I'd take any one of them. Blow it out, you big ears!
Women in sports. Who cares? The only sport I can watch with women in it is catfighting.
Hello, Misty May? I've got this little fur ball that needs a volleyball shoved down his throat.
And we'd be rich enough to have Sandra Bullock clean it up.
We can afford that now. Have you seen Speed 2?
Yes, we get it. You're bitter and jealous of bigger Hollywood stars. Get over it! Okay, there may have been one other difference, and that was the daughter character, Tiffany, played by Nikki Cox. While Christina Applegate's character was a complete bimbo, Tiffany is actually a smart and level-headed girl, though that still doesn't make her likable.
I choose to save my virginity for some wrinkled old wheezebag with a ton of money and a month to live.
Then why bother dressing like that?
Because I love the power.
Well, she certainly has her priorities in order. Eventually, the writers started noticing that Nikki Cox's body was the only thing that could possibly draw viewers. By the 5th season, they dropped Stephanie Hodge's mother character, built a whole new opener centered around Nikki, and focused most of the stories around Tiffany at college. So I guess the show started being different from Married with Children, but the episode still sucked! Making fun of the X-Files and Ally McBeal just because they're more popular? Really?
The low-flush toilet is now the only kind of toilet you can legally manufacture.
This country isn't free anymore. I can't smoke in a bar or drink in a car.
Floppy, we're going to Canada. All the way to
Make it stop! This show actually got to have its own finale, centered around Jack actually working hard at his job to help get Tiffany into Harvard, raising her entire tuition in a matter of days. But there is a heavy price.
Jack, I only live in your imagination. If you don't talk to me, I don't exist.
Sorry, Floppy.
Thus dies Floppy.
Alas, poor Floppy. I barely knew him. Only that he was a loudmouthed ass full of cotton and shavings. What? No!
You had everything you ever wanted. Money, power, the love and pride of your children. And you gave it all up for me. You are a loser, Jack.
A loser star for a loser sitcom. Fits perfectly! So the show ends with Jack throwing away any chance of a successful life so he could talk to his imaginary friend in the basement. This was a stupid show. It was a clear example of how Warner was clearly willing to accept any idea for a show in order to fill out their lineup. No way does something like this last for 5 years on a more established network. If there's one good thing that came out of it, I think it helped kill the dysfunctional family sitcom trend, as we started getting inundated with slightly friendlier TV families in many future shows. And the WB did begin airing some better shows shortly thereafter, but much of what aired for their first few years they probably just want to forget about, and Unhappily is right up there on that list. It's just a stupid premise that they project a grown man who's such a crazy loser that he needs to talk to stuffed animals. Isn't that right, Garfield? Yeah, I thought so too.